I'm Draco Self-Important, and you should listen to me. Today, you're going to listen to me talk about how I'm fucking crazy. So I have a bunch of different mental health diagnoses. Um, I'm having, I'm having, I have been my entire life having symptoms that I think have not quite been put into a pattern, and that I'm recently putting the dots together. And I'm like 95% certain that I have BPD. I have not been diagnosed. At some point, if I can manage to get myself in front of a qualified professional who takes my insurance, who doesn't ask me about my genitals, we'll get to that story. I um, would, love to discuss this with a professional because I have not had this thought since the last time I sat down with someone who is able to, like, diagnose such things. I've done, like, a refill or two online, which is, oh God, such a train wreck. Um, but the provider that I had that I loved, I couldn't keep when I stopped working because he does not take state insurance, which, just for the record, is not an indictment of him because no one in this area basically takes state insurance because the state pays so very little for appointments. There are two places um, that you can go to get like counseling and comprehensive psych care when you are on state insurance in the greater Olympia area, if you will. Um, and that's a place called CMAR, which also does like urgent care stuff. They do family practice stuff. Like in general, CMAR is fine. Like I have taken the kids there for shit at times. Like they're it's a fine urgent care. It is what it is. However, as someone who is pretty fucking severely mentally ill, um, I went in to discuss getting refills on prescriptions and was treated like a drug seeking lunatic because I wanted 10 milligrams of Adderall. And what was the gabapentin dose that I was on at that point? I think it was 600 mil 3 times a day. Um, these things are like what I had been on for years and years. These are not like the Adderall is a controlled substance, yes, but that is like the entry level dose for Adderall. And I had tried other things before, like the what is it, Stimutex, I think is the thing that they give you now. I might be making that up. I might be confusing that with the name of something in a fiction now that I think about it. But there's God, I don't remember what it's called, but there's a newer non-narcotic medication that they're like pushing on everyone that apparently works pretty well for some people, but not me. It just made me dizzy and nauseous, man. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Um, so my ADHD has been untreated now for I don't even know how long. It's been years. So like for me, the biggest part of my ADHD is my executive dysfunction because I lack object permanence like a fetus. Well, not a fetus. I don't know. A very small baby, right? Like you put some shit in front of me and I'm like, "Ooh, that thing." And then it gets out of my vision or line of thought or whatever and it's like poof, it's gone. And like I have set reminders for appointments and then seen the reminder and had it be like a 5 minute reminder and then be like, "Oh yeah, but I have to do this one thing real quick before I log into that thing," and have forgotten within that 5 minutes and missed my appointment. And that's happened more than once. Like it's that's just we're not going to delve too far into my executive dysfunction right now. We're also not going to delve yet into the no, we are. The other place is BHR. They actually, their children's services are amazing. Chef's kiss. Everyone that I've worked with has been great. The adult services, um, I saw the I did like an intake for the counselor, but never actually saw the counselor because with two different um, psychiatric like prescribers, I believe they were both doctors. I don't think I was dealing with like nurse practitioners or anything in this particular scenario. Um, One for sure was Dr. Martin in BHR in Olympia, because I went in trying to get refills on my gabapentin, my Wellbutrin, and my Adderall. Specifically, the Adderall was the thing that I needed because that was the thing that I was like out of at the time, and quite frankly, was having a real hard time functioning, not being able to get anything done. It was, yeah. We can at a different point get into the train wreck that my life was at this point and like why I wasn't working and all of that jazz, but that's a different conversation. I'm trans. Hi, we've mentioned this before. And he was asking me about my transition. Now, if you're someone who's not particularly familiar with like the concept of being transgender from a medical perspective, not everyone has the same end goal. Surgery is not right for everyone. Different kinds of surgery are right for different kinds of people. Some are not. Hormones, etc. There are a million different kinds of medical things that you can or can't or may not do as a trans person going in whatever direction you're going, but none of those things are required for you to be transgender, right? And if I'm having a conversation with a provider, what I expect is the first thing that they're going to do is ask me what my goals are if they want to have a conversation with me about my transition, right? Because having a conversation with someone with gender dysphoria about their gender dysphoria in the context of a psychiatric appointment, totally legitimate. However, if I've come to you for ADHD and you have not asked me what my goals are, and the tone of your voice sounds oh so much like curiosity and not like someone who's actually asking for my clinical needs, and you start asking, oh, you're on testosterone, so what changes have you had? And so I'm like, fat redistribution, blah, blah, blah. Like I go through, and he's like, what about facial hair? And I'm like, I don't know, I grow some. Like, I got a couple here, but I don't, like, have a beard yet. And he's like, enough to shave. And at this point, I'm like, I don't, like, a couple of them I have to shave off because they look stupid if I don't, but, like, I don't, like, what? And then he's like, he asks me about my genitals. And I'm like, yeah, there's been bottom growth. And he goes, well, tell me about it. And I went, what in God's name does that have to do with my ADHD? And he stops and he pauses because I don't think he expected me to push back. And it took him way too fucking long to come up with the answer. And the answer he came up with was, well, you have gender dysphoria, so I need to know how far along you are on the transition. And I went, why do you need that to treat my ADHD? And also, you don't know where I'm trying to go on my transition, so what is this conversation for you? And, like, oh my God. It was the most fucking dehumanizing shit, because first of all, I went in there telling this man that I had not been able to work because my mental health went to hell in a handbasket. I couldn't even keep my own fucking house clean. Like, I literally sat in a mess and cried about it. And like, no one does that because they fucking want to, man. No one. And I'm sorry, dude, like, I watch a lot of commentary. Hi, right now I am wearing a Zachary Michael hoodie. Hello, huge fan. My baby asked me today who my favorite YouTuber was, and I said, it's probably Zachary Michael. Zachary Michael is one of many, many YouTubers who I have seen criticize people and their, like, how clean their houses are, or whether or not they're using paper plates, or, etc. And it's like, bro, I'm sorry, we don't talk about executive function enough. We talk about it as laziness, and we talk about it as willpower, and we talk about it like, you have a thought And then that thought translates into your body doing shit. But when that process does not connect and you have all the fucking thoughts in the world, but you can't actually physically make your body do any of it, and no one believes you, it's fucking crippling. And it's like, just the idea that there are people who are like actually content with living in like filthy conditions and that like they choose that just because like they don't give a shit is bananas. Nobody likes that. Will they admit it to you? Will they admit that they have problems? Well, no, not everyone is going to do that. But fucking, I am here to tell you, if you are looking at someone who has an eating disorder and is morbidly obese because of it, there is already executive dysfunction diagnosed in this person because they can't control the thoughts of, I shouldn't be putting this in my fucking face, and yet they still do. So if you know that that person has that issue in that area of their life, what would lead you to believe that they didn't in others? Like, for example, keeping their home clean. So, like, it's super fucking cool that people who have willpower and, like, really great executive function, you can have a thought, you can do the thing, you can just boom, boom, boom. Fucking awesome. Good for you. That's not the way the rest of the world works. And having someone ask me about my fucking dick in a goddamn... I legitimately think that if I'd been like, well, do you want to see it? He'd have said yes. Like, no joke. I think that had I offered to whip out my junk for that man, that he would have been pleased at that as a situation. He was furious. It had nothing to do with anything fucking clinical, because he just spent 15 fucking minutes ripping me down and telling me basically that I was of... He told me I had cannabis abuse disorder, which, let me just tell you, the amount of different providers that I have been through when I had different insurance, and in this insurance, through trying to go through a bunch of online shit, I have never, not once, minced words about how much goddamn weed I smoke. Never. Yeah, I'm a fucking stoner. I vape a lot. It's a thing that I do. What of it? I disclose this because I don't want my medication to be something that if I am smoking weed, I'm gonna fuck up my own life in the medication. Like, I tell them this, right? Because I'm not a fucking moron. Never, not once, before or since, and I have mentioned it since. And in fact, when I brought this scenario up with a counselor who works on the children's side of BHR, she literally laughed and said that shouldn't, like, that's not, no, like... Oh my god, there's something flying in front of the light. So, I have guinea pigs. They're delightful. They eat hay. And at one point, one of the bags of hay that I brought into my home had these tiny little flying shits in them. And I have spent the past, like, I don't know, year and a half or so since that happened, trying to get rid of the little fuckers. But here's the problem. I can't get rid of their food because I have to have unlimited supplies of hay for the guinea pigs because, like, that's like what, like, look it up, man. Like, that literally the recommendation for how much hay you should give your guinea pig is unlimited. They should have hay available at all times. Keeps their little teeth healthy. It's great. So like, there's nothing like there's no amount of cleaning up I can do. So it's just a constant, like, you know, trying to put like little like pest control things and fly traps. And for a minute I was encouraging spiders. That's not a good idea. And since then, I've been just killing all the spiders that I didn't initially kill. It was a bad plan. Yeah, it's especially, they're false widows, which are very common around here. But if you see it and you don't know that that's what it is, it looks like there's a gigantic motherfucking black widow in your house. And you're like, rah! Which, to be fair, I think there are Black Widows here. But being the asshole that I am, I fucked with a spider so I could see its belly. By fucked with, I mean I took a toilet paper roll and made it lift up on its little hind legs, because spiders, when they get into a defensive position, will go ha at you. Because I legitimately, like, it sounds goofy. I wanted to see if it was in fact a Black Widow, because if I have like a Black Widow infestation in the house with children, that's probably bad. But if I have a couple of false widows, like, they're gonna eat the fucking hay bugs, and then cool, like, Um, I don't know, man. Ooh, we're getting a friend. Hello, friend. Those are Vash's ears, you see, creeping. He's trying to be very cautious because he knows that I'm doing something. And he's like, if I interrupt him, he's going to kick me out. But if I move really slowly, then maybe he won't notice. Except he's talking about me. Shit. His ears, right now, he's like, hi. You want to come here? Well, no. He doesn't know what's going on. So anyway, I don't know why I picked this up. The reason it was in my way, the cat was about to step on it. I need to go outside. The reason that I started filming this rambling bullshit to begin with was because I don't want to say picked a fight, but so what had happened was I said to my partner, hey, can I come over tonight? And he was like, yeah, you can come tonight. And I went, well, I mean, obviously, like, I wasn't going to come pick you up right now. Or no, I said, can I come over? I didn't say tonight. And he said, yeah, you can come tonight. And I'm like, well, I mean, I wasn't going to pick you up right now. Like, obviously tonight. Like, what are you talking about? He was like, oh, no, I just mean, like, I'm going to need some time this weekend. And so I, instead of taking this at face value, am like, well, maybe I just shouldn't come over at all, because, like, if you need time, then maybe I should just give you time. And I basically fucking badgered him until he was like, fine, don't fucking come over. Like, he did not say that. He got to the point that he was like, well, maybe I do need the weekend. And so, like, I am now, because I genuinely thought that I was picking up on some shit that he was putting down. You know what I mean? I thought that he was trying to be like, yeah, you can, but, like, that's not really what, like, I want, because he said you can, not like, yeah, sure, like, come on down, sounds great, like, nothing, And then when I tried to clarify, I'm like, oh my god, like, I feel like a burden, like, I don't want to. He's like, no, you're not a burden, you're definitely wanted, and I enjoy spending time with you, and blah blah blah. But, like, at no point was he like, and I would, I don't know, man, like, it felt so very much like he really did not want it and was just doing it for my benefit, which is a thing that he does. He will, if he thinks he can fix some shit, he will fucking throw himself in front of, the firing squad to try to fix it, regardless of how many times you tell him that's not, because I've told him at least 4,000 times, like, don't sacrifice your needs for mine, right? So then, in the moment that he tries to, like, express his needs, I lose my fucking shit. But, like, it's because I really genuinely, like, and with him saying, like, oh yeah, I think I need the weekend. Well, it's like, isn't that what you needed fucking 2 hours ago before we started having this conversation? And this is not the first time that, like, usually it's the other way. Usually it's when he's supposed to come to me that I will, like, talk him out of it, because I can, like, he's like, no, you need it. Because I'm a very needy person, right? Like, I definitely, like, if I could be glued to him, I would, and he knows this. And so, like, he is not. He is the sort of person who enjoys solitude way more than I do. And, like, and so it's like, we're trying to balance that, like, responsible, communicative adults. And it felt like we were doing that same shit where he was like, no, it's good, I can totally do it. And I'm like, motherfucker, will you sleep, But then he was like, no, that's not what I was doing. So then it's like, so then my priding myself on my ability to read people, well, that's out the fucking window, because clearly I misread this situation like a motherfucker, and you did want me to come down when I asked initially, and I fucking badgered you until you didn't. And now I'm sitting here lonely, feeling extra stupid, because it's like, either I'm a fucking moron because I did not do the thing that I am best at, like at all, and fucked it up horribly, or he really did want to say no to fucking begin with and is just not admitting to it now. And either way, I lose. So it's like, I just, I feel shitty and stupid, and I dwell and I dwell and I dwell. And that's the BPD thing, right? It's the like, the thing that like brings this up for me in this moment is the massive fucking overreaction and the just spinning and the dwelling and like that whole favorite person archetype. Sweet Jesus, do I do that? Um, yeah, and he's you know, it's why losing my brother was as hard as it was, I think. Um, Again, undiagnosed, hypothesizing, speculating. Don't come for me. I'm not trying to stolen valor with the BPD kids. I'm just, this is what I'm feeling at the moment. It could just be some super duper bipolar because I am diagnosed bipolar too. But quite frankly, I don't think that's accurate. I think I'm just depressed and ADHD and that combination, because none of the things that are intended to treat bipolar disorder, like in and of itself, with the exception of the gabapentin, but that's used to treat anxiety and other things as well, and it's also like it's an anticonvulsant, like it's used to treat a myriad of things. Shit, my use for it is off label. I don't have seizures, um, but like none of the like the mood stabilizers, none of the like atypical antipsychotics, none of that shit helped. It all just made me feel gross. Um, I either had a bunch of side effects and no actual effect, or the actual effect was just to make me a goddamn zombie and not like Um, so I don't know that the bipolar diagnosis is accurate. What I would love is to just sit down with someone and be like, pretend that I've never been diagnosed with anything, and let's start from there and start asking me questions. Because, like, I cannot, with, like, I just feel like I'm spinning. Because, like, there's not a good online option with the insurance that I have that doesn't require me to pay out of pocket. And if I had money to pay out of pocket, well, I'd probably have a job to have that. Like, I don't have out of pocket money to pay for some shit that should be covered. But when I try to go to the people that cover it, they just treat me like a drug seeking fool. What? Like, legitimately, am I gonna make fucking meth out of 10 milligrams of Adderall? Like, are you kidding? This is the drug seeking behavior that we're concerned about. Yeah, dude just flat out told me he does not prescribe it under any circumstances, for any reason, for anyone, just flat no. And I'm like, well, is there anyone else in the office who does? And he's like, I don't know. And I'm like, well, could you help me figure that out? And he's like, no. Well, bro, like, I get that people abuse this, but Jesus fucking Christ, man. Like, it's just really unfortunate because, like, the online shit, half of the shit I need they can't do because they can't monitor it online. And there's no one here who takes my insurance that will actually do it. And so I've just been under medicated or unmedicated for years at this point. Um, and I don't even know that the medications that I've been on are the right ones because, as previously mentioned, I don't know if my diagnoses are correct. Like, I got a DBT workbook, dialectical behavioral therapy, for those who are wondering, because that is like the standard treatment for BPT. And it also is something that's like helpful for normal humans. It's not like particular, so I feel like it'll probably help me either way. But like, man, oh daisies, does it feel like it's speaking to me directly? I'm tired of ruining my own life. you know? I'm tired of being the problem. Because it's like most of the time at this point in my existence, I am this calm, calm. I rant, I ramble, but like I think that I'm pretty emotionally mature, because even after I act like a complete and total fucking asshole, like out of, I can recognize it. And hell, the problem is I can recognize it in the moment, and it's like I'm communicating this to him as I go. I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm being unreasonable. I cannot help this. You asked me how I felt. Well, now I'm fucking telling you, and it's fucking stupid. So now here we are. And then I just kept spinning and spinning and spinning. And it's like every bit of conversation just reminded me how stupid I was, reminded me how badly I fucked up the whole situation, and reminded me that I'm here fucking by myself when I could be off getting snuggles. But I fucking talked him out of it because I'm such a fucking dick. Like, and legitimately, man, like, I'm afraid to hang out with people. And so instead, I'm going to talk to no one because no one is watching this shit. And I'm just going to sit here and, hope that I have some kind of revelation, man. It's so fucking stupid. I want to be able to control it in the moment. Because I can always, like, I can usually see it happening while it's happening. Sometimes, like, if we're talking about me throwing some sort of big ass baby fit, right? I can usually identify about a quarter of the way in, oh, I fucked up. And whether or not I can stop at that point is a different situation. But I've gotten pretty good at flailing wildly and being like, I'm not in control of this situation right now. Oh my God, I'm God. Because, like, I have a saint for a partner who is very understanding of the fact that I'm not trying to be like this. I don't like it. It's not ideal for anyone. And hopefully, like, my good moments and the moments that I can be a person, and like, hopefully that's enough to be worth being with. I don't know, man. I may come back later and talk about some other stuff. Um, because I got a lot of parenting shit on my mind, but I honestly don't know. So yeah, um, anybody know any qualified psychiatrist? Wanna give me a ring? Some pro bono work? Just saying. Oh well. I love you. Be safe. Make good choices.